Hello model railroad fans, welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. In today's video we're going to repair and service this USA Express locomotive by Tyco. It's one of their mini Alco Century 430 locomotives, and it's a bit irritating that I actually have to fix this, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But you're probably looking at it right now and say, well, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. What on earth could be wrong with it? And that's really the problem. I bought this for $18 off of eBay. I already have another one of these, but it was modified from its original state, and it was a bit faded out and everything. So I wanted to get another one that was just a bit cleaner looking, but still had the power torque motors and pretty much looked like it would have right after you bought it. So in the description, it basically said that it was from a set and looked like it had never been run. Said it was tested as working, and both horn hooks in the front and in the back were present. So he indicated it was nearly new. So like, great, 18 bucks, that didn't seem too bad. Shipping was a little bit high, but it was something I've been looking for, so I went ahead and bought it. So it came in today, and I was all excited when I got home from work, and there was a package. And I opened it up, and sure enough, there it is. And right after I open it, that happens. When I remove the bubble wrap, and just as I was about to lift the locomotive out, this drops on the table, pretty much almost in this exact spot. So if I flip it around, you can see we've got a broken side frame. Alright, and if you can look closer, there is no rear horn hook coupler. There is no front horn hook coupler. So all of this tells me that this is not a nearly new locomotive, that it has had some action, and it wasn't mentioned in the listing that this was broken. Now I'm willing to allow that it got jostled pretty good by the post office and this popped off. It may have already been a little bit loose and the seller may not have noticed it. So that is one thing, but no horn hooks, that's a little bit different. So the plus side to all of this is it does run. It definitely needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but I use this little railer to put my locomotives on the track. It's just a lot easier for me. And with these Tycos, they have traction tires, so I feel that resistance of those rubber traction tires hitting the rails. It had like an incredible drag. So I didn't feel that resistance. So when I look closer, I don't know if you can tell, but that front wheel set right there is missing the traction tire. It does have it in the back, but that's going to be another thing to tend to. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to replace this side, this whole truck cover here. I'm going to put this in my spare parts bin and fix this in the future, but I'm going to rob one off of a donor locomotive, and it'll already have the coupler on the back. And then I've got, let me reach in front of the camera here, a coupler here that we're going to put on the front, and we're going to replace the traction tires. We're going to oil it up just a little bit, and then we're going to clean the wheels and get this going. And you can't really see it because it's off to the side, so I'm going to just lift the whole camera. But once we get it all good and serviced, I don't know if you can see them over there in the corner, we've got 6 cars and a Spirit of 76 caboose. I figure that'll be the best match. And we'll give this a couple of laps or so around the track here. Alright, so I have got a donor locomotive right here. It's this Rock Island Shark Nose. Eventually I want to get it up and going and working fully, but I have another one of these already that's working perfectly, so we can rob this for the moment and get him going a little bit later. Alright, so let's scoot this out of the way. Scoot this out of the way. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to just tend to this back truck. And let me just get all my little tools and stuff out of here. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove these screws. And I got my sandpaper there, and I got my traction tires. So we're going to put 2 on here. I'm going to go ahead and replace the 1 and be done with it. So I apologize, this video will probably be a little bit on the longer side. I'm still new to doing these. I have yet to learn how to do that little fast forward thing I see some people do. But if you're new to this like I am, be a good little walkthrough. Alright, so here is that side frame off. So let's set that aside. That will go in my little parts bin later. Alright, so we're going to get our little bit of sandpaper right here, and we're just going to give these a little bit of a polishing up. Just don't have to get too rough with it. The sandpaper does a pretty good job of getting the grime off. I don't know if you're even seeing that. It's kind of hard sometimes to do the work through the camera. I'm trying to kind of stand to the side of it so that I can see better. But you get kind of caught up into it and then realize you're not looking through the camera. Alright, let's take this off camera for just a moment. Alright, so we've got that looking pretty good. Alright, and you can see the difference there. It's not a lot of corrosion, so it doesn't take a lot to knock it off. It's a fresh sandpaper here. The front ones are a little bit easier because I can hook up power to it and let the locomotive do the work. Originally this was going to be a shorter video just running this locomotive, but now it gets to be a longer one. Alright, so that looks a bit better. So let's go ahead and get our oil. And we're going to put just 4 drops. Oh, bumping the camera here. We'll make it to where you can see. We're going to put a drop right here just to lubricate this area. Just need a drop, don't need a lot. That's just to help eliminate some friction. And then we can just drop this and this back in place, and then we can kind of work our truck back in there. And I forgot to take the screws out. And there they go, falling down in the locomotive, so I'll have to shake those out of there in a second. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to just put one in there for the time being. But let's go ahead and shake those screws out. Oh, good. 2 of them fell into this foam. Only 1 fell in the locomotive. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull this. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and polish up these wheels real quick. That way when we reassemble everything, we'll be done. And I will probably just reassemble off camera. So let's go ahead. Got a little alligator clip here. I'm going to just hook it to one wheel. Just like so. Get my sandpaper, and then I'm going to basically Let's do that. And that's already pretty shiny. Oop. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let me just give this front one a little bit more. There we go. I think that'll do the trick. Alright, now we can just turn that off and won't have to worry about it. And I'll show you what I'm going to do as far as servicing this. Then I'll just stop the footage, put it all back together, and then we'll see what we got here. Alright. So let's start with these screws here. I need to remember to get a little baggie to put these others in. Sorry, I got my hand all in the way. But I'm just taking out 3 screws. Alright, and then we can just lift this out, just like so. And then we can remove these rascals. Alright. Now this next part will be a little bit easier without having this little cradle. We can just kind of lay it on its side. Actually, I don't even need to pop this motor out, I don't think. And I'm not going to. Because I can see. I'm going to bring this up in the camera. There's a gear right here, that little pinion gear. I'm going to just put 1 drop. And actually, you know what? I am going to take this out because I can just, it's a little further in than what I was thinking. So we'll just give that a little twist. Out that will come. I have almost no leeway, no slack. So let's just pop this loose, just like so. And that will let us get to this little pinion gear. So we're going to put just a drop of oil right there. And I'm going to put a little bit on this just so it'll help it kind of slide. And then we're going to very carefully rotate this around. And there is a little area right here. I'm going to put just 1 little drop. The commutator's behind there, so you don't want to put a ton in there. Alright, so it was turning pretty freely, so I'm going to just snap this back into place. I don't think I need to oil that up. Alright, I'm going to stop the video for just a moment because I'm just going to snap this little frame back onto here, but I need to kind of get around the side of this camera. Alright, I apologize for stopping the video and not showing that part. But it would have probably took me a minute or so of fiddling around this camera to get it done, whereas when I took it off to the side, it popped right in immediately. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is the same as we did on this truck. We're going to put just a drop of oil right here, but we're going to do it on all 3 of these, or all 6, however you want to think about it. Because we have an axle here as part of the gearing mechanism, because they use the same truck for all of their locomotives. So like your 630 would actually have another one of these in that place. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I've got a little bit of grease here, just some of this Labelle 106, and plastic parts don't rub together too bad, but still save any friction that I can, so I just put a little bit and just kind of spread it around. Don't need a whole lot. And then I just lay it in. Oh shoot. Doggone it. I forgot to, well, let me just wipe that off. It's not much. I forgot to change out the traction tires. Silly me. Alright, so I got my little bag of traction tires here. These are the O-ring kind. Alright. So like I said, this one was completely missing it. And I gave it a quick check over to make sure that it was not just a piece of it there. So all I do is I just kind of hold it in place, and then it just spreads right around like so. And then I just kind of take my fingernail and just make sure that it's in place. And then we'll do what we started to do with that other one. We'll get some of this grease here and just spread a little bit of it on these teeth. And then I drop it down, grease facing down. I do that more just so I'm not making a mess. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pop off this old one. Oh man, that thing was shot. It just completely broke. Alright, so let me just make sure I get all the bits of it out of there. Alright, we appear to be good and clean. So let's grab another one of these. And just pull it over. And again, just kind of take your fingernail and do like so. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing with this grease. And I put a little bit more than I meant to, but it'll be alright. And then finally this one. And again, a little bit more than I meant to. Alright. Alright, so all we got left is pretty much to reassemble it. I'm going to do this off camera. I'm just going to put this horn hook coupler in here and then get this on. And when I come back, I will have the locomotive on the track as well as these cars, and we'll see how she runs. Alright, we're back on the track here and got my power supply turned on. We're in forward. So let's see how she runs. Oh wow, that's nice. I did run it when I first got it because I saw so many problems that I just want to make sure that it was actually running. I'm hoping to get a little bit of a refund, a couple bucks or something, but if it was not running at all, that would have been a problem. Slowing down on me a little bit there. Oh. Alright, so let's go backwards. And she's running beautifully. Alright, it's good and oiled up. Got nice traction tires. The wheels are clean, so let's see how slow she can go. How slow can you go? Alright. That's very jerky, but it's moving. Let's see if we can get it a little bit smoother. There we go. Well, it was running smooth. I think for a 30-40-year-old Tyco, well, I don't know if quite that old, but I think this is like the 90s. I think that's pretty darn good, especially given those power torques are not known to be the most reliable. Alright. One more time, I'm going to stop the video and we're going to load up these cars. And we're going to see how she performs, pulling a little bit of a load. Figure this Spirit of 76 caboose will be the most appropriate. I mean, this is a USA Express. It's not a Spirit of 76. But it's going to match a heck of a lot better than, say, this Illinois Central Gulf. Alright, I'm back. So we've got our cars lined up here. We have got 6 of them with a caboose for a total of 7. So let's back on up here. Boom, we got cars. All right, let's go forward. That's a nice slow pull there. Pulling them with no trouble. So let's get a little extra speed here. All right, well there's our USA Express. Moving on down the rails. All right. All right, model railroaders, that's a look at our Tyco USA Express. We got her running like a top, and that is definitely one beautiful locomotive. All right, well, if you enjoyed watching me get this locomotive up and running and seeing it riding the rails again, make sure and hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted when I have another video. And if you have this locomotive, let me know down in the comments. How does this rate as far as Tyco? Is it one of your favorites? And it slowed down on me a little bit there. Seems to do that. But anyway, is this one of your favorite locomotives Tyco put out? Or do you like it better than the Spirit of 76? Or is 76 still the king? Alright, well thank you very much for joining me. Happy model railroading, guys. Take care.